Hey everybody, what's going on? Snowy Minotaur here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. And in this video, I'm actually going to be talking about the recent Vaulted a Year or More item shop that happened just a little over a week ago as this video recording. Now, I actually made a video a few days ago actually talking about the recent Tidy and Rambunctious video. Like all about that whole situation. That video, if you want to get more context from that, I would recommend watching it. This is essentially a second part to this because that was not the only controversy that came out of the item shop. It actually had to do with the more recent Vaulted a Year or More item shop. Now, I'm not talking about the one that brought back Tidy. I'm actually talking about the one that came back last week as this video recording that had 3 tabs in it, and it caused so many problems with the Fortnite community. Not because of what they brought back, it's because of how they handled this shop. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. So if you don't know what the Vaulted a Year or More item shop is, it's essentially an item shop tab to where they bring back rare item shop cosmetics that haven't been seen in over a year. Essentially, that's it. We've gotten a few of them in the past and they've actually gotten some pretty good reception from them. However, this most recent one has gotten a lot of backlash, and it has to do with a lot of things. So let's hop right into it. With the first problem with this shop, and that was it felt very random. I actually made a pretty good point about this, and actually a good assumption and just a good example on how Epic basically treated this shop. Essentially, how I described it was this. They took item shop cosmetics, okay, from over a year ago. They put them all into in a hat and drew them out at random and called it a day. That's literally what it feels like with the item shop. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not even kidding. This actually brings me to my second point here, and that is most of the cosmetics that they actually brought back that were part of sets actually had cosmetics that were last seen over a year ago. And the worst part about it was that they decided to release some of them in the daily without bringing them into the actual Vaulted shop. Like, for example, I actually have a few examples here. Like the Rebel skin, for example. This was actually one of the skins that was featured. It's a pretty good skin. It actually has a male skin that didn't come back, which is still pretty rare. But they decided to release her pickaxe, which is from the same set, the Crossroads pickaxe, 2 days later. By the way, you're hearing me correctly. 2 days later, they sold this pickaxe, and it was last seen over 1,300 days ago. Why didn't her entire set return to the item shop, but only just her? And also another good example here is the Star-Crossed glider. This is the glider on screen here. It actually had a really rare skin in here, and it was called the Dio skin. And this skin actually didn't come out until the last item shop of Chapter 3. And guess what, guys? I could legit keep going after this. There's so many other sets that had cosmetics which came back in the shop that also had cosmetics that were last seen over a year ago that did not return. Like, it's so stupid and embarrassing that they even did this. Like, why did you just pick random cosmetics from other sets, Epic? Why didn't you just bring back full sets? A lot of people have been asking for that. But don't worry, we will talk about a set that recently returned in the shop as well a little later on in the video. Now, my next big problem was that a lot of the cosmetics that they actually chose in here, while they were a year and above, most of them were 400 to 500 day cosmetics. I'm not even kidding. A lot of them actually re-released last year, believe it or not. Like Yeehaw, for example, actually re-released quite a few times last year, and she was last seen 600 days ago until the shop actually came into the game. It's really strange that they chose a lot of 400 and 500 day cosmetics. If you want to know something, the rarest cosmetic to come back was a music pack that was last seen just a little over 2 years ago at the time. I am not making this up. Like, are you serious, Epic? At the very least, with the third Vaulted shop, while that was also kind of randomized as well, they actually had a pretty good variety of cosmetics from like 365 days to even over 1,000 day cosmetics when it came to some of the wraps that they brought back. In this shop, it was mostly 400 and 500 day cosmetics with just like a few 600 days and like I think a couple 700 day cosmetics as well, but that was essentially it. There really wasn't anything crazy. And you know what was worse about this was that the cosmetics that people actually wanted to see in the Vaulted shop were actually being released in the daily. Case in point, the Tiss emote. This emote was actually the rarest emote in the game at the time before it released into the item shop in the daily tab out of nowhere. That, like, everybody was speculating that this emote was going to be released in the freaking Vaulted shop, but it didn't, which is really strange. But speaking of emotes, we gotta talk about the emote selection because the emote selection was honestly really bad. So let me just get this off my chest here by saying this. The rarest emote to actually come back from here, which was actually the only interesting cosmetic from the emote selection that they brought back, was On the Hook. I think that was actually a pretty nice one to bring back. Even though I know a lot of people don't like this emote, it was actually a really rare emote at the time, so this one is the only one that actually kind of makes sense to bring back. The other ones were just not that great. And I know people are going to say that the busy emote, while yes, that was one of them, was the rarest emote to return because it was last seen 700 days ago. Almost a 2-year-old emote. That meant it was really rare. No, it wasn't, guys. It was a rare emote, sure, but it really wasn't an insanely rare emote, especially because, how I said in my last video, it doesn't matter how many days it was last seen in the item shop. It more or less goes down to the point on how many times it was sold in the item shop. That's why I'd say the rarest emote to return out of there was On the Hook. The other emotes that they brought back, the lowest amount of times they were in the item shop were 15 times. I am not making this up. All the other emotes that they brought back in the shop, besides On the Hook, which released 4 times into the item shop, all the other ones were released a minimum of 15 times, so they weren't even that rare. And most of these were in the 30-day rotation to begin with, so what was the point of this, Epic? You were releasing the emotes that people actually wanted to see in the vaulted shop in the daily, while you were shafting these emotes, which are 30-day rotation emotes, and putting them in the freaking vaulted shop. And not to mention, these emotes were so overpriced because there are way better options out there for emotes like this. Like, for example, Busy again, there's the focused emote, which is 200 V-Bucks, and it's traversal, and it has a lot more animation to it. Busy is just one of those emotes that's just way too overpriced and also outdated as well. And might I mention there was only one dance in this shop as well, which was Intensity, which isn't that bad of an emote because I know there were people who were asking about this emote to return and they were really wanting it to return. But why didn't they just bring back like Vivacious or something else, you know? Because there's a lot of other dances at the time that could have easily came back to the shop. But they decided to choose, once again, emotes that released over 15 times into the item shop. And almost all of these, besides Busy, were 400 and 500 day cosmetics. Now this actually goes to my next point in this video, which I actually alluded to earlier in the video. And that is the only set that actually returned to the item shop was the pajama skins. Now don't get me wrong, these are actually good skins in my opinion. I'm actually really glad that they came back. However, one of the skins, which was the Slumberjack skin, was actually misleading the item shop, as this skin was actually not seen in over a year. Or in this case, it was actually last seen 355 days ago instead of 365 days ago, which is a year, by the way. Epic, do you know math? I can understand why they brought back Slumberjack, but you guys couldn't have waited like another 10 days? You did it with like that flying carp glider for the first vaulted shop. That was 365 days when that came back. Why didn't you do it with this one? Was it because you guys were rushing out this shop? Because it does feel like it was really rushed, because the whole entire sections just looked so random. It looked like they were so like randomized, and just in general, like it felt so random. You're bringing back skins that were not even seen in a little less than a year, by the way, in a vaulted a year or more item shop. Are you serious? Like, this shop had so many other problems, and once again, I have to mention this here, a lot of the cosmetics were overpriced. Like, there were some extremely outdated cosmetics. Most of the skins did not even come with back blings. There was so many just outdated stuff in here. And again, do I need to mention the emotes? A lot of them were overpriced. Like, just overall, this recent vaulted a year more item shop was a complete catastrophe. I'm not trying to say that they should stop making these shops, because honestly, I feel like these are awesome shops. But this one was definitely the worst one, because at the very least with the third one, it was really unique. But let me all know down below in the comments section, what did you think of this vaulted a year or more item shop? Did you like it or hate it? Let me all know down below. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did happen to enjoy, consider subscribing to the channel, turn on notification bell so we know there's any more new videos from me, as I do upload weekly. Drop a like on the video if you did happen to enjoy this video. I also have a Twitter that's at SneakyMinotaur on Twitter if you want to go follow me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I love every single one of you, and peace out, everyone.